Lean in to this new season that's ahead of you with this yin yoga for fall practice that uses the science of traditional Chinese medicine to help ease you into the transition into fall. I recommend having 2 blocks close by for this practice. We'll start today with our blocks laying down on the front side of our bodies. But before you head down, I want you to take your fingers, you can use your peace fingers, and bring them to your collarbone on either side. And just below your collarbone, start to draw your fingers out up towards your shoulders and notice where you find a little bit of a depression. This is one of the acupressure points that we're going to work with today. And as you come to lower yourself down, do your best to have your blocks underneath your shoulders and chest landing on this point. So there's a gentle pressure. It shouldn't feel uncomfortable, just a little bit of a push as you open up your shoulders. So it might take a little bit of adjusting. Usually the blocks feel a little bit better on a bit of an angle. And do your best to get as comfortable as possible here. Legs extended out long behind you and arms draped by your sides. Start to slow your breath down. You might even notice your belly gently pressing into the mat as you inhale, and your body falling a little bit closer to the ground as you exhale. In Yin, we follow traditional Chinese medicine. And in traditional Chinese medicine, there are meridian lines. And each meridian line is associated with an element and with a season. So today we'll be working into the lung and large intestine meridians. And meridians are basically energy channels that run through your body. And the two that we're focusing on today really feature letting go and creating direction and focus, which is perfectly timed for the season of fall, of course, as schedules are shifting. People are running back to school, and you're really getting yourself, most likely, into a new routine after the busyness of summer when things are a little bit different. Take about 5 more slow breaths here, really allowing the front side of your body to grow heavy. Your shoulders almost feel like they're floating or lifting up into space. Slowly begin to ease yourself off of the blocks, drawing your hands underneath your shoulders to help push you upright. Bending into your knees, sit back onto your heels in thunderbolt pose. Might feel nice to take a few rolls of the shoulders here, up, back, and down in space, or back, up, and forward in space. You can play with what feels best. Then bring your hands back to the ground. Big toes touch, knees wide. Walk your hands forward in space as you melt your heart towards the ground into child's pose. take just a single full breath here. As you inhale, lift your chest just enough off of the ground so you can thread your right arm underneath your chest, reaching your left fingertips towards the right hand side of the room, releasing your weight and the back side of your left arm into the ground. Continue to reach your right fingertips forward. And then once you land here, soften. Let yourself fully release into the pose, knowing that you are supported, knowing that the schedule, routine, and systems that you are currently putting into place are there for a purpose to help you. They don't have to be perfect. You can always make adjustments. Let your breath continue to be full. Your ribcage widening with each inhale, chest puffing out as you fill your lungs. And a gentle hug of the torso with each exhale as ribs slowly knit back together. Heart lowers. As you inhale, re-lift the chest, lengthen left fingertips out forwards. And as you exhale, thread right arm underneath. You can gently push into the back side of right shoulder and arm to help you a little bit more into the twist. It might even feel nice to tent up onto your left fingers, create a bit more space in the left-hand side of your torso as you come into stillness on this side. Take about 3 more full breaths. We're working into the lung meridian, so how deeply can you expand your lungs? How much air can you pull in without it causing you to gasp for breath? Release your right arm from under you, lengthen it back out. Push into your palms as you transition into a tabletop. And then tuck your toes and find a downward facing dog so you can pedal out the legs, releasing any tension from the backs of the legs, the knees. And really firming your grip into the mat. Walk your feet towards your hands and your hands towards your feet. Coming into rag doll. Here, generously bend your knees, so much so that your belly may even touch your thighs, and your upper body is completely supported by your lower. Here, you can either grab hold of your elbows and let yourself hang, Or it might feel nice to have some support by bringing the blocks underneath your palms and gently using this to support you here. Really think of spreading your sit bones wide and your head being as heavy as a bowling ball, like it's gently pulling your spine. And your arms are heavy as well, opening the chest and shoulders all the way to the fingertips. And for the last minute or so, you can use the acupressure point just between the thumb and index finger. You're using your thumb and index finger on the opposite hands to press into the fleshy part between these two fingers. You can do this on your first hand for a couple breaths. And switching hands, pressing the same point on the second side. Releasing the hold of the acupressure point. Starting to walk your feet out a little bit wider than hip width distance. Toes face out, heels are in. Start to dip your tailbone and sit bones towards the ground for yogi squat or malasana. As this is yin and will be here for a while, you can choose to sit on a block or two, making this pose as comfortable as possible. And if this does not feel great to you in the slightest, you can always come down onto the back side of your body. Hug your knees, your shins, and then draw your thighs wide to opposite sides of your belly in a supported happy baby. Whichever option you choose, lengthen your tailbone towards the ground or top of your mat. If you're upright, palms come to touch and elbows gently guide the inner thighs wider. Reach the top of your head up and away from your tailbone. Your heart is open, shoulders gently pull back in space. And this pose is said to be really great for making decisions. It's also fantastic for digestion. Either way, it's a great pose to practice daily. Draw your attention to your breath and how full it is. Each time you inhale fresh air, newfound energy infuses your body. And every time you exhale, you let go of what the body doesn't need, what the mind doesn't want, allowing you to rest more peacefully in stillness. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you're sitting on blocks, remove them from underneath you so you can settle your sit bones to the ground and slowly lower yourself down onto the backside of your body. If you're already on your back, draw your knees together. And we'll all lengthen our limbs long for our final relaxation pose, Shavasana. You may choose to use blocks under the backs of your legs, draw a blanket over yourself. If you have anything that you can use to cover your eyes, it's always a great idea. And letting yourself settle in. Let yourself rest in this transition of time from summer to fall, knowing that you have a multitude of ways to support yourself. But it's natural to feel some resistance. And that fall is welcoming you in to a slower pace of life, into a time where you can enjoy the harvest, all the seeds that you planted through the summer. Allow your breath to begin to deepen. Maybe you start to rock your head from side to side. Gently reawaken the body, starting to move fingers and toes. When you're ready, take a big inhale, reaching toes and fingers away from each other, full stretch. Release it out through the mouth. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Roll over to your right hand side into a fetal position. Take your time as you gently push yourself up into a comfortable seat. We'll meet with our hands in prayer at our heart centers. Bow your head so your third eye meets your fingertips. And thank yourself for showing up on the mat today, for doing this act of self-love for your mind, body, and your soul. Lift your head back up. May you feel kind words. May you speak kind words. May you think kind words. Together, we bow forward and say thank you. Do you wish that you could deepen your yoga practice without paying thousands for yoga teacher training? You can. Learn how to cultivate your self-awareness so you can become the advanced yogi you dream of being without the handstands or the arm balances. Join Journey Home and feel yourself evolve on and off of the mat. Your yoga adventure is calling. Start today.